Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today we're going with the Sydney Swans, best 23, get into some depth and some further list analysis along with some stats to back up the choices. All right, it's going to be a lot of red in this one. I've gone with the reddest shirt I could find in the wardrobe. I know the lackey's a bit cooked, but it's going to do for today to go along with my red face and red nose. I got burnt to shit landing some buildings out in Muchad this week. So that's today's theme. Let's get into it. We'll pop me in the corner. And we'll start off with full back for Sydney. Gone with Melican. Lewis Melican played 17 games last year, 101 games into his career. He's got a few decent traits. We got 4.6 spoils, which puts him in the top 50. He actually ranks him 39th in the league, and 5.11 percenters, which puts him in the top 40 as well. All right, so decent stuff. Fullback, not quite the name that the Sydney Swans have used to having, like a Leo Barry or someone like that. But he's the starting one for this year. I've gone with Callum Mills, former captain. If he's not still the captain, I think he may have lost that after being injured half the time. Pick 3 of the national draft. Another reason why these academy rules are starting to get tightened up. I think at the time he was often considered to be the number one player in that draft. When he does play, he always performs. As you can see, nearly 24 touches a game. They only got 12 games out of him last season. If Sydney want to move up the ladder a bit more this year, they're going to have to get more games out of players like him, Errol Goulden, and so forth. 6.6 marks is quite high. I thought he's more of a, I guess they're kind of kicks in the back line, so I didn't actually expect him to have that many marks. 10.3 rating points, nearly 400 metres gain. Very good player, 174 games into his career. You can see he's one of the better picks of that draft. Here you can see his pick 3, Callum Mills, Oliver and Wiedering also went in that top 5 in that range. Yeah, so he's done his part. Just a few injuries held him up the last couple of seasons. Okay, and then for the other back pocket, I've gone with Tom McCartan, Paddy McCartan's brother, I believe. 6.3 marks as well, and plenty of decent defensive traits here. He wins his one-on-one contest, nearly 2.5 a game. He gives you 1 percenters a game and 4.6 spoils. So again, I think that's the same as Melican, wasn't it? 4.6. Yeah, so you're getting 4.6 per player. Mills is not quite that one-on-one type of player. 1.3. Those guys are going to take the marking options, you would think. Okay, so that's the current team. Paddy Mills picked up an All-Australian jacket in 2022 as well. That's basically all we've got for those 3. Centre-half back, I've gone with Blakey. Not your typical centre-half back, often plays off the man a fair bit. Elite pick, another academy player. Picked 10 in 2018. In the top 10 in the league in kicks. I dare say be metres gained as well. There we go. Yeah, number 7th in metres gained. So he basically picks up the ball, runs it, and then bombs it long a lot of the time. Generally hitting a target as well. 14.1 ranking points as well. Puts him in the top 30 in the league, which puts him, 27th? Okay. So, very good player. I believe he's picked up an All-Australian jacket too. Yeah, he has, 2024. Okay. Next, I've gone with Riley Bice, mature age pickup from last year. Started to show some signs. I think once he starts getting more regular AFL game time, we're going to see some improvement out of him. He's still only 25, so still on the younger side. They got 16 games out of him last year. He is out of contract this year. Okay, 14 touches a game, and his time on ground I think would bump up as well. Okay. For this one, Matty Roberts. I wasn't too sure about the other halfback flanks. Roberts, he can accumulate the ball when he wants to. Can be handy in the fantasy type of games at times. 83.4% time on ground, nearly 400 metres gained. He's often that outlet kick. Doesn't really play tight on his opponent. 6 marks a game is 43rd in the league. Okay, out of contract in 2027. Have a quick look at the makeup of the build here. Okay, so you can see no real youngsters in the team at the moment. We've got everyone in the prime years. These guys are the younger 3. These are the older 3. After 26, those 3. Okay, and the kind of a bit of a discrepancy in the games played as well. You can see here, Roberts and Bice have played under 50 games. Malikin's played 100 to 150, and these guys have played over at 150. Okay, so you can see Blakey, they've got most games out of Blakey considering his age. He's still under 20, still in that 25 bracket, but he's in the 150 games. He's had a better run of it throughout his career. Only one player out of contract, which is Bice. The other three are next year. Okay, so they'll be competing, or potentially looking at a move over to Tassie as they start looking to come into the league. We'll move into the wings and the engine room. Okay, so let's close that again. Let's blow it up a bit more. There we go. So we got Goulden, another All-Australian quality player. He's picked up 2 jackets, one in 23 and one in 24. Okay, I believe he was an academy player. He was. You'll start to notice that Sydney have actually got a lot of help over the journey with academy players. Obviously, the AFL is starting to trying to develop the Sydney markets and the Queensland markets. Only got 10 games out of him. He busted his ankle in the preseason. Vital player for the Suns. He often roaming around the half back line. He's got a deadly kick, probably arguably one of the best kicks in the entire comp. Racks it up as well, so he gets his 27 touches a game, which puts him 25th in the league. Top 10 kick. The Sydney want the ball in his hands and they want him kicking it ideally. He's ranked in the top 50 players, 13.1 ranking points and 440 metres gained. Elite player, one of the big 3 midfields, as they say, along with Heaney and Warner. These are the guys that Sydney are going to want to hold on to long term. When he's out of contract, actually. He's out of contract 2028, so they've got him for a few more years yet. I've gone with Justin McInerney for the wing here. 17 games, 21 touches a game, plays his role, out of contract this year. Okay. 82.8% time on ground, 10 rating points is not too bad. 2 good wingers. Obviously, Goulden's the elite of the 2. McInerney, kind of the more typical winger. Okay, let's go with the Ruck. Grundy's come back to form after a couple of down years in Melbourne. I believe he's an All-Australian player. He is too, 2018, 2019. Had a very good year last year. I think he got the record for most touches from a ruckman at some point last year as well. They got 22 games out of him. Pick 18 in the 2012 National Draft. You'll see that he's one of the best picks of that draft. Obviously played a lot of his career in Collingwood. We'll have a quick look at who we got. That was a Lockie Whitfield draft. Jake Stringer's up there, Vlaston, Ollie Wines, and Jack McRae. But yeah, Grundy you could argue would be the best pick of that draft. What are we, 2012, 13 years on. Okay. Next, we've got the main midfielders sitting under Grundy's feet. Chad Warner, another All-Australian caliber player. His jacket was earned in 2024, so not last year. Okay. As you can see here, Grundy's journeys, I forgot to mention that earlier. Grundy's journey comes from Collingwood to Melbourne, and now he's landed at Sydney. So next I've gone with Rowbottom, kind of a tagger kind of player. He's going to be the one putting the defensive pressure on the opposition midfield. You can see here he's got his gold stat, 7.3 in tackles. He's always just there ready to put pressure on their ball, on the opposition's ball winners. Plays his role perfectly, and Heaney could easily slot in the forward line. I think he's more valuable to Sydney up the field a bit more, just getting his 25 to 30 touches a game. You can see he's got elite traits. Another academy player, pick 18. Really never should have gone that late if that wasn't for the academy rules. You can see he's played almost the most games in that draft as well. 224. Who's this? Harris Andrews, another academy player, I believe, for Brizzy. But yeah, again, probably the pick of the draft almost. This was the Petrarca, DeGoey, Duggan draft. Okay, so here's your field at the moment. Let's have a quick look at the list makeup. I'll go back to the top. Still no one under 21. So this is a team that really wants to push for top 4 this year. They were pretty much the team to beat 2 years ago, and they had a real down year last year. That started when Errol Goulden blew his ankle out. These are the younger players on the field, but under 25 years old. makes up the vast majority of the team already. 4 guys on the back end of their prime years, and then 1 elder player in Grundy. Grundy's 31, so you're probably looking at another. He's contracted to 2027, so you're looking at right up to his 33-year-old. That's when his contract expires, but I think he'll probably be playing on 1 year prove-it deals after that, providing he hasn't lost a step. 5 players have played over 100, and further 5 have played over 150. Only inexperienced players here are Bice and Roberts. Bice was a mature age, so his body should hold up, and Roberts is 22. He's found his way on the field and can accumulate the ball. Okay, so we got a good blend there. No real passengers or younger rookies have made their way onto the starting side just yet. Logan McDonald, pick for the 2020 national draft, probably hasn't really lived up to it just yet. Always shows potential, but they didn't get a game out of him last year. I've got him starting at centre half forward. I'm going to play, obviously, Kerno somewhere in this forward line as well. You can have a look here how that pick would have fared. You can see a lot of players picked after him have played a lot more games than Logan McDonald. This one straight after was Braden Campbell, another Sydney player. Okay, and Archie Perkins, Max Holmes, Gouldens, obviously probably the pick of that draft. Pretty lean draft in my opinion, that one, the 2020. All right, let's go. Next, we've got Braden Campbell, again, another academy player. Pick 5 of the 2020 national draft. Oh, that's one I just discussed, isn't it? Yes, it is. Ignore me. Bronze badge for his marks on the lead. Likes to kind of come out from deep in the pockets, coming out when it's not Amati or someone like that as the main target. 94 games into his career. Next, we've gone Angus Sheldrick. Thought he was going to leave last year, ended up signing another extension to 2027. 29 games into his career, starting to accumulate the ball a bit as well. Gets his 16 touches. Probably wants to tackle and kick a bit more. You want those tackles inside forward 50 to be bumped up a bit, less than a tackle a game, unless Cox has got plans to move him into the main midfield, but I can't see him pushing any of Warner, Heaney or Rowbottom out anytime soon. Next we've got Charlie Kerno. Obviously the big recruit. I think Sydney ended up paying 3 first to bring him across from Carlton. Former, I think he's 2-time Coleman medalist. You know what you're getting out of Kerno. He's going to mark everything in his vicinity, providing it's a half-decent kick. Surprising he has not won an All-Australian jacket, which, as you can see here, my toggle here will give us All-Australian jacket. That might be an issue on my data, especially if he's won 2 Coleman medals. Next, let's have a look at his stats, 3.71 on 1 contest. That's what you're paying for. You just need to get him isolated against his defender and he can do some damage. 1.7 marks on the lead. 1.8 goals per game. He can probably get you 2 to 3, really. Bit of a down year, 3.32 goals for the season. Papley, another elite crumbing forward. You can see here marks and lead. So they're all like marking on the lead. I thought his tackles inside the forward 50 would be a bit high. Usually get about 2 or 3. And then I've gone Roses, who comes across from Gold Coast. Another academy player, but this time it was for the Suns. Nearly 50 games, 24 years old. And you can see here, he's not getting much time on ground. So once he gets his time on ground, you can bump up those stats a bit more, I think. He'll get a proper run at it instead of coming off as a sub. There's no sub rule this year. Okay, let's have a look at the team makeup again. Everyone under 25, so that's the vast majority of the team. They're entering their prime years. They should be ready to roll. A few guys on the older side of the prime years, and then 1 elder player. Okay, out of contract, only these 2 players, Bice and McInerney, will probably sign extensions throughout the year. These guys are looking at getting a payday when Tassie roll in, and these guys are probably going to also be using Tassie as getting some money. Okay, top 10 picks. You got 4 players in there: Mills, Blakey, McDonald, and Campbell. Pretty much everyone else falls outside in that 11 to 50 range. Okay. 15 of the 18 players I've named are from the national draft. Only 3 players taken from the rookie draft: Papley, Melican, and Rosas. 6 academy players which is quite high. You can see the total is 33.3% of the list already. The average for the whole league is 9.6%. All right, and then let's have a look at the height profile. Sorry, one player over 2 meters, 3 players under 180 centimeters. They'll play the small forward / midfielder roles. All right, there's your 18. Let's get into the bench. Going with Cunningham. Harry Cunningham's played forever, 32 years old. Very good defender. Does his role every week. I just couldn't really find a spot for him on the starting park. James Jordan, again, another midfielder, hasn't quite cracked, the starting team just yet. I'm going to obviously prefer those four. 15 touches a game. Still gets you a decent amount of clearances, 2.8. Let's go McLean for the third bench spot. 2.1 one-on-one contest. So if Curnow ever goes down, it'll be him or Amati, I dare say, taking the role. 1.8 marks inside 50. Nearly 2 meters tall. I think he's a little bit taller than Curnow, who he is, yep. So different players. I think Curnow's just got a bit more footy now, and that's how he wins those one-on-one contests. You can see you're winning nearly double. Okay. Sarong from Hawthorn. I believe that's the Dockerson's brother as well, a trade target, another midfielder. No games last year, so not much to report there. I've just found a spot for him on the bench, and I've gone with Amati. So that's the other bench spot if McDonald or Curnow don't play. Has his games where he fires on all cylinders, and then other games, nothing. I remember 2 years ago he had a game with, I think it was 7 or 8 goals. As you can see, last year only 13 goals. Okay, now let's go into the bench. I've gone with Warner's younger brother. He's starting to come along a little bit. I think he's always going to be weighed down by the weight of expectation, being Chad Warner's brother. Only 22 years old, so he'll still be around for another 5-6 years. Okay, 78.1% time on ground, 270 metres gain. Could probably play that winger spot as well. I've gone Cleary, another academy player. He hasn't just quite cracked it. Again, it's just another midfielder who's fighting against everyone else to get game time. All right, and then I've gone with Dane Rampy, former captain, 35 years old. He's kind of just fallen off a little bit, but he'd be playing, if any of these backmen get injured, I dare say he would be a ready-made replacement. Okay, he's out of contract this year as well. All right, so that's where we're at for the starting 23 plus 3 benches. We're going to get into the depth of the rest of the list now. So we've got the primary list, Category A rookie list, and Category B rookie list. Category B are the international players or coming across from another code. Okay. All right. For added depth in the list, we've got Harry Kyle, Filippo, Kuti, and King. All of these guys are top 4 draft picks that the Sydney Swans took in this year's national draft. All of them 18, apart from Kuti, he's 23. You'll see here Max King says he's 25. This app I've built picks up St Kilda's Max King sometimes. I've got to find a way to fix that. But yeah, Harry Kyle and Max King both come from the Sydney Academy. Filippo was often touted as like a top 20 pick. So they got a bit of a steal there with Filippo slipping a pick 35 for him. And Kuti, mature age. Okay. Let's get into further depth. You've got Snell, Green, Tolley, and Bowman. All of these guys have played under 10 games, I believe. 0-0 for Snell. Tottoli's, I think, 3. Filled in for Papley a few games. And Bowman, again, 0. Early draft pick from last year. Just couldn't crack the side just yet. Same with Will Green. Okay. Ryak Andrew, I believe he's Mac Andrews' brother. Again, no games. So all those 5 barely played 5 games, and then you got Taylor Adams, who's played a bunch of games, 32 years old. Really could find his way on the list quite easily. Still a very good player. Just in this current list makeup I've put together, not quite. So you can see he's come across started off at GWS, played a fair chunk of his career at Collingwood, and then found his way to Sydney. He's got a couple of just the one All-Australian jacket in 2020. So what's that? 5 years removed from his prime. Okay. Next, we've gone in the category A rookies. Some of these guys have often played a lot of games, and the club has delisted them and picked them back up. Okay, Will Edwards and Sam Wicks. 87 games for Sam Wicks, a Category B sign-on, another academy player. Okay, Joel Hamling, he's been around the traps a bit. You can see here, started off in Geelong, played a little bit at the Dogs, then went to the Dockers, played a little bit there. So this is his fourth club. Okay, still got all his elite defensive traits. 5.5 spoils per game, 6.11 percenters, and he wins his one-on-one contest. Again, providing that they can get some actual games out of him, should find his way onto the field a fair bit. Might even just take one injury. Maybe someone like a Bice you could replace with Hamling. Okay, but you can see here 105 games at 32 years old. It's not great return. You'll find here he's been one of the more injured players by far of this particular draft. So 2011 national drafts only got 11 players remaining. Hamling has played by far the least. Where are we? Let's bring it up. So again, we got Lachie Neale's played 294. He went, pick 58. So he went 26 picks after Hamling, and he's played nearly 150 odd games more. So he just can't get on the park, unfortunately, Hamling, over the journey. Despite jumping from club to club, everyone can see the potential. Just need to get him on the park. Tom Hanley, 8 games last year, 20-year-old, mid-season rookie. Again, a bit more depth, maybe. Well, you probably, again, he's 179 centimeters, so he's fighting with these type of guys, the Papley, Sheldrick, Gouldens of the world. Okay, guys under 180 centimeters. Laddams from Port, ruck depth. Sorry, so he'll be relieving Grundy should Grundy get injured. Okay, these are the only players above 200 centimeters. Grundy, Laddams, and Green. Green's yet to play a game yet. Okay. Jake Lloyd, been around forever. I believe he's an All-Australian at some point. No, he hasn't. He racks up the ball a fair bit. He's just 32 years old, and I think Dean Cox is going to start moving away from him. Eventually, that's the starting lineup I've gone with. Again, you could easily put him on the bench in this list. I've just opted not to. You can see he's got a gold trait, a lot of marks. Not really a big fella type of mark. He's just kind of those backwards kicks, chip kick kind of mark player. Very handy for Dream Team and those type of fantasy sports if you're into that. But yeah, just not in the starting 23 for me. Okay. The other two players, I think Chamberlain was a rookie as well. Category B, he was from this year's draft. Didn't get picked up in either draft, but they've taken him on as Cadbury. And Liam Heatherton, again, no games, 18 years old. Okay, so there's the full list. They've got no spare roster spots this year. So no SSP sign-ons for Sydney this year. You can see here, we'll go into their output profile. As far as a full club goes, they're averaging 454 disposals per game compared to league average of 463. Remember, we've got a ton of players returning zeros, especially all these rookies here. Okay, Kyle, Filippo, Kuti, King, Chamberlain, and Heatherton. They're not going to be contributing anything to that. 1.4 goals less than the league average. Tackles 4 less, and then marks about the same. All right, hitouts are at 10. I've just found that there was an issue with Brodie Grundy's stats. He's registering 0 hitouts per game for some reason. I've just double checked. That's actually 36.7 per game. So that would bump that total up to 46.7-ish, which would be in front of the league average. Obviously, Grundy is probably a top, 4 or 5 ruckmen in the game. And clearances, they're one of the better clearance teams of the competition as well, 47.3. Okay, we've got 11 players under 21. Most of these guys have not played 10 games. These guys are all under 10 games, okay? Sarong's the only one on the side. I've just put him more on the side because Sydney obviously traded for him this year. Most of the list here is under 25. We've got 28 players of the 44 under 25. That's this lot here. Okay, only 6 older boys. I've started to move them off the park as well. Adams, Hamling, and Lloyd. They could very much easily get named round 1. I can definitely see that happening if Cox wants to get the club off to a good start, which I anticipate him wanting to do that. Okay, we got 14 players have played under 10 games, most of them on the bench. Sarong, bit of running power, made his way on the field. 10 players over 150, and those same 3 are off the on the bench. Okay, they've only got 8 players out of contract this year. Most of their list is going to be fighting for money from Tasmania. So that'll be interesting to see how Sydney tackle that issue, including some of their star players. Grundy could definitely be a starting ruckman for Tasmania, and Warner's going to want a nice big pay packet or even threaten to go back to WA. Okay, we've got 5 top 10 picks, most of them on the park. Laddams was a rookie draft, pick 9 of the rookie draft. Okay, and 10 academy players throughout, which is pretty much way ahead of the league average, 22.7% of the list compared to the league average of 8.8. Okay, we've got 3 players over 2 meters, Grundy, Laddams, and Green. I suspect if Grundy was to get injured, Laddams would be the replacement, and Green. And we've got 6 players playing the small forward roles, Papley, Sheldon, and Goulden. Roses is a little bit bigger. He's just outside that bracket at 180 centimeters. Okay. So there's your starting lineup for Sydney. Okay, we'll go into a bit more further details and some depth chart. Again, there's your ruck depth. Grundy, Laddams, Will Green, just as I explained. Laddams got it's got about 3 seasons worth more of experience than Will Green. Obviously, Will Green, a higher draft pick, they might want to start getting some games into him. Kerner, if he was to go down, the next man up would be Amadi or Laddams. Blakey's obviously playing on the park as a centre half back. Okay, Blakey and Melican are the key backs. Logan McDonald, he more wants to play up forward anyway, and Papley's is starting small forward along with Hanley. He's played 8 games. Braden Campbell's 94, so he'd probably be the next man up as well. Okay, these are your tackling players, your pressure players. James Rowbottom, one of the league's best, 7.3. Goulden does his fair share, 4.3. Grundy, exceptional for a ruckman at 3.9. Okay, and we'll have a look at the actual list makeup. Not quite a fair few of the later picks. Starting 23, they've got a few. If you toggle this, you can actually see that they've got a few early picks in the last 4 or 5 years. They haven't quite made their way onto the park just yet. They're opting to go with the older side of their list for one last push at this type of premiership while they've still got them. If that fails, and I expect a Brisbane or Gold Coast to really lock out all these other teams of the premiership race. So I think you could see a lot of these Ned Bowman, Detoli, Hanley, Harry Kyle, Caden Cleary start getting some more game time once Sydney realise that maybe that premiership isn't going to happen these next 2-3 years. Okay, you can see here, Harry Cunningham, pick 107, probably the latest draft pick I've seen as far as current players in pick 2012. Okay. Everyone else pretty much in the top 50 with a few very early picks, Campbell and Logan McDonald, Callum Mills, Kerno and Papley. All right, that's the list makeup as far as they compare AFL wide goes. Have a look how old they are. So they're the 5th oldest club. As far as the starting 23, they're the 6th oldest. Okay. They've got no players under 20, 2 players over 30. That's in the starting 23, of course. They've got 6 over 30 as a full club and 6 under 20. None of them have made their way into the starting 23 just yet. Contracts, they've got 8 players out of contract this year, which is by far the least out of every single other club. Every other club is around 21, 22. You can see Hawthorn 18, North 21. Sydney have got 8. And then next year, they're really up against it with Tassie coming in with 22 players they need to sign before then. So it'll be interesting to see how many Sydney players end up on Tasmania's initial list. All right. Now, height size, they are the 16th tallest, which would make them the 3rd shortest club overall, and 14th tallest starting 23. They've only got one player over 200 centimeters. That's Grundy. Every other team's usually using maybe 2 or 3. There's actually a few teams actually with one, I've just noticed. Giants, Hawks, Melbourne, and North. Everyone else. Oh, Richmond have 0. There you go. Okay. And then that's pretty much what I've got for Sydney for this video. I hope you like what we're doing here. If you could like and subscribe, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who has subscribed so far. I think I've just cracked the 1,000 mark. Bit of a milestone I wasn't expecting at this point. I'm going to keep trying to pump these videos out for you guys. And yeah, thank you very much for taking your time to watch it. Really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Cheers.